heavyweight boxing, it only takes one shot, lads. What a shot it was. I can't believe it. Like, Fabio Wardley knocks out Justis Huni with one right hand in the 10th round in a fight that he wasn't just losing. He was losing hand over fist. He wasn't competitive in. He was taking a shellacking. And he gets a perfectly timed, landed right on the button right hand as Justis Huni is walking in with his own shots, to which he'd been so careful about all fight, because his defense was quite good, Justis Huni, in here. Although he got hit with a few shots, his defense was pretty good. The one time he lets it up is the one time Fabio Wardley, who hadn't really been throwing the right hand, throws that right hand, bang on the chin. Fabio Wardley hits the deck. I'll talk about the count when we get to it, right? Let's just bring it back to the first round. So, actually, in the changing rooms for this fight, I was looking and I was thinking, Huni looks nervous and Wardley looks calm. Now, you think it'd be the other way around, because given the fact that Huni's the experienced amateur and Wardley is like, this is insane for him, right? Where he came from. But in the ring, the first round, Wardley came out and threw a big overhand right. And I did think Huni looked a little bit not relaxed, right? But he relaxed into it pretty quickly. I think because he saw what Fabio Wardley had to offer by way of shot selection, by way of his stance, everything. Wardley, who was not a accomplished amateur, but not sure he wasn't even an amateur. Huni was an accomplished one at that. Huni had a high guard, looking to counter punch, and you could see that from the first round that he was looking to get the big right hand going. He was landing that jab with regularity from the first round. And I think he was able to spot that Wardley was, again, not as well schooled, because Wardley had the left hand down low. He's basically fighting with his guard down low, which meant that it was literally like, how do I not miss you with the jab? You're standing there, here's the jab, I've hit you. He was harder to miss than he was anything else. And Justis Huni, the contrast in styles, Huni, high guard, up, blocking all the shots, arms and fists, bringing the elbows down. Wardley just low guard, pulling back in straight lines, very upright, not a good idea. He was getting hit with jab after jab, right hand after right hand, to the point where me and people in the live watch along I was doing, I was even thinking, should they pull him? Because the first round, and by the end of the first round, it did appear that Wardley stunned Huni, so you knew the power was there for Wardley, you knew that. But you started to wonder, okay, look, is he going to go at him straight away in the second round? What's going to happen? And from the second round, it was just Justis Huni and Justis Huni the whole way through the fight. Because Huni was just getting his boxing sorted. The angles Fabio Wardley was giving him, he wasn't changing them up. He knew exactly what to do. He was able to back up to the rope. He was able to do all this stuff and just essentially make it quite easy. Like, at times in there, it looked like Justis Huni was enjoying himself. And after even about 4 rounds, it looked like Wardley was breathing heavy. He took a bit of a pasting in the 5th round, Fabio Wardley, and he walked back to the corner with a dejected look about him. Like Justis Huni, when they were starting the rounds, he's up with 10 seconds to go in the minute's rest, ready to go. Fabio Wardley is slumped on the stool like that, 10 seconds, no, I'm not getting up until I have to. That kind of look, that kind of expression, he had a dejected look. He was getting hit a lot. He was gassed. He wasn't able to land his own shots. But like that, he persevered. But after a while, you're looking at it and you're just thinking, you're actually worried. I'll tell you why you're worried, because you're looking at this and you're thinking, right, if Justis Huni, who's clearly not a big puncher, even for heavyweight standards, you're looking at him and you're thinking, if he was a big puncher, he'd have stopped Fabio Wardley by now. And there were times there I thought Fabio Wardley was hurt, or certainly felt the weight of some of the shots that Justis Huni was throwing. In spite of the fact that Justis Huni, obviously, like, he's not the biggest puncher, but like, he's a big guy. They're not going to tickle those shots. You don't want to be taking them, willy-nilly. You don't want to be doing that. Hence the reason the right hand, the punch output from Fabio Wardley, especially the right hand, dropped very dramatically after the first round, because he knew this guy's a good counter puncher and he's flipping countering me. And I want to minimize the damage, right? I want to minimize as much damage and as much opportunities. If I start throwing right hands, I'm going to get my head taken off. So his punch output dropped. And as it was progressing, I was just thinking, do you know what? They might need to consider pulling him, because he's in there again with someone who's not the biggest puncher. And those are the kind of beatings where your brain just takes a consistent thrashing over 10, 12, many rounds it goes. They're the ones that really cause you the problems. It's not necessarily the one-punch knockouts. They're not ideal, but a sustained 12-round shellacking, that's when you hear fighters having problems. And I was looking, thinking, all right, if he's really taking that kind of a shellacking after 7 rounds, maybe pull him. But in the 8th round, he still won that round, Fabio, or Justis Huni, but his punch output dropped. So he did start to fatigue himself a little bit. Not fatigue, but the punch output's obviously going to slow as the fight progresses. It's inevitable, it's natural, especially for these guys, big guys. 9th round, more the same, still winning the round clearly, but landing a little bit less and throwing a little bit less. 10th round starts and it's again much more the same. You're looking at it and you're thinking Fabio Wardley has to go for broke. He has to do something in here, and he's not doing anything. And then, as I said, Wardley is backing up. Justis Huni comes in, a bit reckless, walks into a lovely right hand. Reminded me a little bit of the right hand Mike Tyson hit Francois Botha with. Short, comes in, boom, on the chin, gets results. Justis Huni, ba-bum, hits the deck. Now, the referee administered a count. It's very difficult to hear how fast it was, but as Huni got to his feet, he waved it off. Now, it's hard to tell what's going on, what the referee is seeing. Didn't really, the cameras weren't great. He looked out of it, Justis Huni, and with 1:30 to go in the round, you would imagine he could potentially get serious here, but he did make it to it. He did look out of it though. Under those circumstances, I can allow it, but it's a difficult one. But he did it to me when he got up and the referee waved it. He didn't complain, Justis Huni, from what I could see. It looked like someone where if you did let it go on, he'd be out this time. He'd be out cold because he could not. He was done. He was not going to recover. You could tell that the punch took everything out of him. So I can't really argue with the stoppage based upon what I've seen. I know there will be some people who will, but you're always going to have that. I can't believe it. I did think Justis Huni would win the first couple of rounds. He'd be awkward, he'd be tricky, he'd be counter-punching and all that. But I thought Wardley would get on top of him pretty quick and put him in his place. He didn't. And he is never in a million years going to look for a rematch. Never in a million years is he going to look for a rematch for his guy, because he knew, it's not luck. You throw a punch, you're hoping to land it. There's no such thing as a lucky punch. But, man, he was lucky. Boy was lucky in there tonight. He really was. He really, truly was. What a scrap. What a fight. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Were you like me, just utterly shocked when that right hand went in round number 10? Because I certainly was. I mean, I can't believe it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed the video, people. As always, smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course. As always, again, if you haven't already. And until next time, I'll leave it there. Peace and love.